How's it going, Webheads? My name is Ryan Walsh. We finally got our first official look at Captain Marvel herself, courtesy of Entertainment Weekly. Of course, they're always coming in clutch with those first pictures of all the latest Marvel movies. And we finally get to see exactly what she's going to be looking like within the film. We get to see that awesome, just red, blue, and gold costume. And I have to say for myself, she looks absolutely amazing. Also, we got some new photos showing off the Skrulls and the Kree. And it may not look like we got a ton of stuff, but that just may mean that you weren't looking close enough, and I'm going to be telling you guys everything to know about these photos. Unfortunately, we did not get an official trailer for the Captain Marvel movie, even though I did say that I really wanted to see one in my last video that I put up yesterday, really talking about the theory that I had on Captain Marvel. But usually when these Entertainment Weekly magazines come out and they show a bunch of Marvel first look photos of an upcoming MCU movie, usually within the next couple days or even week or two out, that's when we get to see the first trailer. So it's definitely coming this month. But anyways, let's get into these awesome pictures and really break them down and find all the Easter eggs that we really can find within these photos. Now, let's get the first couple of shots out of the way. Of course, we have the cover of the Entertainment Weekly magazine. It's showing Carol Danvers and Captain Marvel and exactly what she's going to look like, her official costume for the Captain Marvel movie, and probably what she'll look like in Avengers 4 as well. And if you really look at just down the side, they're basically just emphasizing on how she's going to be the most powerful superhero that we've ever seen within the MCU. Kevin Feige's really been hyping this up, so obviously they're really trying to get that across to all their viewers of the magazine. And I gotta say, her costume looks very comic accurate, and even in the next photo where we see her in a desert-like setting, we don't really know where she is, but she's probably like in an army base on Earth, and this is where she really has her comic accurate suit in action, not just on the cover, but we get to see it in an official image of the movie, and I gotta say, it looks amazing on screen. I'm really happy with what Marvel did with it. And it looks like this is not gonna be an origin story like everybody thought it was going to be. Marvel was really talking about it being an origin story, but it seems as though when the movie picks up that Carol Danvers is already going to be having her powers, and she already has some abilities down with her powers. So we're not going to be seeing the whole origin, and instead we're going to be getting a bunch of flashbacks, probably showing a lot of her origin that way. And this is really due to Carol Danvers' origin within the comic books being very similar to Green Lantern. Marvel was talking about this probably like a couple months ago, and they said they wanted to really redo her origin so it wasn't so similar to Hal Jordan Green Lanterns. And while we're seeing a bunch of images of her in the Air Force, these are probably also flashbacks because she was an Air Force pilot. And we also get to see an awesome image of Maria Rambeau, who is going to be one of Carol Danvers' oldest friends within the movie. And it's really funny that Maria is going to have a daughter in this movie, because it seems as though that Marvel is really setting up this child to be Monica Rambeau, because Monica Rambeau in the comic books is also a superhero known as Photon, which her mother looks like she's going to be known as in the movie. And they're really just giving a huge nod to this character because she has similar powers to Captain Marvel. She was first known in the comic books as Spectrum. She's also been known as Pulsar, and she's taken up the mantle as Captain Marvel in previous comic books. And who knows, maybe we'll get to see Photon be in an end credit scene and she'll get to have the white costume like she does in the comic books, and maybe we'll get to see her have some powers just like Carol Danvers. But we'll have to wait and see the movie on that one. We also get to see an awesome look at Nick Fury, and he has two eyes because this is going to be taking place before all the events that we've seen within the MCU. This is going to be taking place in the 1990s, and he's going to be working for S.H.I.E.L.D. And of course, really how Samuel L. Jackson got de-aged in this is they had to digitally go in there and do it. So that's why he's looking a lot younger in these shots. A lot like what they did with Robert Downey Jr. in Civil War, how they went in and de-aged him in that one scene where they're showing off the barf technology. And we also know that he's not going to be the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. in this. Instead, he's just going to be one of the desk jockeys. So he's going to have a huge downgrade from what he usually has within the MCU. We even got some awesome shots showing Carol Danvers have a hat with a S.H.I.E.L.D. logo on it, and really just showing off the 90s look in this. We can see her with her t-shirt on, and this is a huge Easter egg showcasing the 9 Inch Nails logo on there, which is a 90s rock band. But now really going up into space where we get to see Carol Danvers have some cosmic adventures. And this is where a lot of the beginning of the movie is going to be taking place, where Carol Danvers is going to be a part of the Kree Star Force, which is basically just the Kree SEAL Team 6. Even though Star Force has superpowers and SEAL Team 6 doesn't. Anyways, boys, the Star Force will be training on the Kree planet known as Hollow, which is the homeworld of the Kree, but is not only known to be the homeworld of just the Kree Empire, it's also known to be the homeworld of the plant-like species called the Kitati. But within this image really showing the Star Force, you can see some familiar faces like Korath the Pursuer and Ronan the Accuser from the original Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and they were villains in that, but since this is going to be taking place in the 90s, this is not when they were outcast extremists. This is going to be when they were a part of the Kree Empire, and Ronan the Accuser especially was one of the high-ranking members of the Kree Empire, and then Korath was one of the members of the Star Force.
They call me terrorist, radical, zealot, because I obey the ancient laws of my people, the Kree, and punish those who do not.
Can't do this! Our government signed a peace treaty!
My government knows no shame.
And we get some new MCU faces in this as well, which we get to see Captain Marvel, which is the original Captain Marvel in the comic books. Then we get a new character, Minerva, who is known as a villain in the comics, where she wears a suit really similar to Carol Danvers within the comic books. But really just seeing that there's going to be so many villains on the Star Force, I have a feeling that towards the end of the movie, Carol Danvers isn't going to be friends with a lot of these aliens towards the end of the movie, which is probably why she changes the colors of her costume, and it looks like that's going to happen towards the end of her movie, because if you look in this image, you can see everybody's wearing the same green outfit. The same green suit that we got to see in set leaks back in January, which everyone lost their minds over, but obviously we're going to be getting an upgrade to that green suit. The other two characters on this Star Force team aren't really talked about within the magazine, so they're really unknown. Let me know down in the comments if you guys know who they are. Here's another image of Captain Marvel and Carol Danvers training, it looks like, within this scene. And Jude Law, who plays Captain Marvel within the movie, said that Marvel is going to be treating Carol Danvers a lot like a mentee in this movie. Really just a pet project so he can train her and help her hone her abilities and control her emotions so that she uses her powers wisely. And it is worth mentioning that Captain Marvel is never seen as a villain in the comic books, he's always a hero. So he probably won't be turning bad in this movie. And he's probably trying to help her out because in the comic books, Marvel was always really fascinated with human beings, always saw the potential for human beings, and he really wants to train her because these other Star Force members are probably used to their powers, where Carol Danvers is going to be getting her powers when she's already a fully grown woman. So she has to really learn to use her abilities wisely.
Why? Why did you do that?
If Ronan wins, there's still a chance humanity can survive. That you can survive. If he loses, the Kree Empire is 100,000 star systems strong. Earth will be crushed.
We also get our first look of the Skrulls and what they're going to look like in this movie, and it looks like they're on a beach somewhere, but I don't really know. I feel like this is when they really just first came to Earth and they landed in the ocean. This is them coming out of the ocean. And it looks like the main villain in this movie is going to be known as Talos, which in the comic books, he does not have the ability to shapeshift like all the other Skrull characters. This is something that is big within the Skrull Empire, where the Skrull race is known to have abilities just like Mystique from the X-Men, where they can shapeshift into anybody they so choose.
They say you can imitate anybody, even their voice. Even their voice.
And this is really funny that Talos doesn't have this ability within the comic books, but as we see in this next photo right over here, we can see that Talos does shapeshift in the movie, so they definitely changed that from the comic books. In this scene, we get to see Talos impersonating a very high-ranking S.H.I.E.L.D. officer, and of course, he's going to be getting played by Ben Mendelsohn, who is really known for doing movies like Ready Player One, and also he was director Krennic in Star Wars Rogue One. And it's really funny that the Skrulls are going to be going to Earth, because it seems as though the Skrulls are invading Earth and trying to take over Earth, because during the Kree and Skrull War, a lot of the Kree and Skrull empires tried to expand into different planets and really took them over for strategical purposes. And we might even get a small version of the Secret Invasion storyline within the comic books in this movie, and I personally really want to see something like that. And the Skrulls invading Earth is exactly why Carol Danvers is going to be coming back to Earth to really uncover a lot from her past and really just try to get rid of the Skrulls from S.H.I.E.L.D. and prevent the Skrulls from taking over Earth. Webheads, let me know down in the comments anything that I missed of all the Easter eggs. If you guys want more on Captain Marvel in the video I did yesterday, definitely consider checking out the playlist right over here. If you guys want more Captain Marvel videos in the future, definitely consider subscribing and turning on the bell notification down below. But Webheads, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Bye-bye.